I'm going to be sharing with you the best foundations for over 40s. I do know what I'm talking about because I'm coming up to my mid 40s very soon, and I have been testing and trialing different foundations that I believe work really, really well on mature skin. Well, not mature skin, because I do feel like mature skin can be very, very different. Like, there can be different versions of mature skin. So I think if you've just hit your 40s, it doesn't automatically mean the next day you've got mature skin. It really does depend on your skin, and everyone ages differently physically, right? So I feel like it really is down to what your skin feels like and looks like to you. And that can really help to determine whether you class it as mature or whatever, right? But let's just put mature skin aside for the second. We're talking about foundations which are great for over 40s. And I'm talking about the majority of people who are over 40 tend to deal with changes in their skin, like lack of elasticity, slight like dryness kind of settling in, and seeing that change, because all of this happens with the change of hormones, especially when you're kind of like you're getting perimenopausal or going into menopause. It honestly wreaks havoc on your skin, as well as all the other crap that's happening on the inside, which don't even get me started on. But I picked foundations which I feel work really well, and I want to explain why. So I'm going to go through each one with you, and you guys can maybe go out and research on them, or maybe it just helps you to narrow down, like, okay, you know what, I've been looking at that and now I feel like I want to try it. So I'm going to be using it on myself as well for you guys to see. Let's get started with the first one. The first one is the Nars Light Reflecting Foundation. I do personally feel like this is actually better than the Sheer Glow foundation when it comes to skin which is slightly older. The reason being is because this formula is a lot more hydrating. So I feel like you get that real kind of healthy look to the skin, and on top of that it's infused with skincare, so I feel like you're getting more than just a foundation. So I do really like this. Now, okay, I am just going to take my foundation off on one side because I want to show you how this kind of works, and I'm just using, by the way, my green calming pads, because these are great for when I'm kind of, you know, applying makeup, removing it, applying it, removing it. So I'm just going to apply this from one side. Apply this, I'm going to remove it, I mean. And I'm just kind of like keeping my under eye concealer on and just removing that. There you go. So that's taken off my foundation on one side. This kind of has like moisturizer within these pads, so I don't need to really go in with anything. Apply a little bit to the back of my hand. This is a fluid foundation which isn't like overly drippy, but it isn't it isn't like opaque or anything, you know. It does drip, but it isn't like super drippy. Now I feel like with this foundation you're going to get your coverage, you're going to get goodness for your skin, and I do really love the finish that it gives your skin, because if you're working with kind of like skin which has slightly less elasticity, it's feeling a little bit tighter or drier, I feel like this really does give you everything you need, because I find that as I've gotten more and more into my 40s, I need that extra hydration that's in my makeup as well as just my skincare. Never thought I would actually require that, but I do feel over the years I've found that my skincare, fine, I've got it down to a T. I feel like I'm happy with that, but I do feel like there are certain foundations which can really dry out your skin even more. So anything that can give my skincare a helping hand is a win for me, and that's why all these are good, like good options for me. This foundation also helps to kind of like smooth your skin, and it actually improves the texture of your skin over time. Obviously this is based on you using it on a daily basis, so I can't really give you an honest review of whether it actually does do that, because because of my job, because of what I do, I don't just use the same foundation every single day. You know, I use a variety of foundations because I'm always testing and trialing new ones to be able to give you the best possible kind of like review on it. I can give you my honest review and answer to everything else, like the finish of it, how well it lasts throughout a day, you know, how it mixes well with other concealers, what it feels like on the skin, all of the other factors which are just not, if not more important. I do also like that this has skincare ingredients in here that help actually like defend against environmental factors like blue light, and things like that. And it does help to kind of strengthen your skin's barrier as well over time. So again, can't comment on that, but I love how this looks on the skin because it genuinely does look like it's a lit from within glow. It doesn't look dull. It doesn't end up looking dull later in the day. I'm going to apply this now and at the same time explain what I'm talking about, but I like to use a brush for this. So I use my BK Beauty 106 brush. I buff into this foundation before I put it on my skin. I do that with every foundation, by the way. It is a game changer for how your like foundation looks. So right now what I'm gonna do is just press on. And as you can see, it gives you a really nice, even finish. Like I feel like you get that nice kind of glow with this foundation, but it isn't like overly glowy. Like the rest of my face has powder on it and the foundation has been set. So you can see that even with applying this and not applying powder on top, it doesn't look like, oh my God, super greasy or super shiny. And that's what I love about this, because it isn't something that requires a lot of powder. You don't actually have to put a lot of powder on this. You can actually get away with a dusting of powder and you're done. I do like how this evens out your skin tone very, very quickly. Again, a lot of that is down to your application and how you apply it, but honestly, I feel like this is a great foundation. This lasts so well throughout the day. I have found that this doesn't dull at all. This doesn't dull throughout the day. Weirdly, it still makes my skin look super healthy and vibrant and just alive, you know, throughout the day. It doesn't slowly start to kind of like deflate during the day. So let's now remove this. Yeah, we'll remove this side because the next one I'm going to show you is actually what I've got everywhere on. There you go. Okay, moving on. The next foundation that I love for skin that is in the 40s is the Haus Labs foundation. And my shade is 300 medium neutral. I love this foundation. So this foundation is actually what I've got everywhere else, which is paired up with concealer, with a full coverage concealer, just FYI, and powder. But I love how this kind of sits on the skin. I'm gonna put this on the back of my hand, just one pump. This is a fluid foundation, again, similar to the first one. It's quite fluid, but it isn't super, super drippy. And I do feel like even though it's fluid, it has that nice kind of thickness to it that gives me the coverage. This is a clean foundation. It's medium coverage, talc free. It doesn't have any of the nasties in here. And I do like that this is actually good for the skin as well. This is great for redness as well. And I do find that my skin tends to kind of, I have that redness issue more as I've gotten older. I don't know what it is, don't know why, but it does have that kind of issue. I don't know why, but this really, really good for redness. So anytime I feel like, okay, I'm dealing with a bit of redness today, this is what I tend to go for, because I feel like it just somehow, it calms the redness down. I don't actually know if there's anything in it that's specifically for that, but it's really, really good for redness. This is also good for acne prone skin, which is great. Now, I've been moving around and as you can see, it's kind of dripped down a little bit. So that's kind of how drippy, the kind of drippiness level we're talking. I'm gonna now buff this into this brush. Again, I love applying this with a brush. Specifically, this brush is great. Buff it into the brush and then we're gonna press this onto the skin. I do feel like this gives me the most amazing coverage. There you go. It's just a really, really good coverage. Even though it says it's like a medium, it's claimed to be a medium coverage foundation, I do feel like the coverage is so good. I would say it's actually medium to full, but I know when you hear the word full coverage, you think cakiness. Just delete that. Delete that out of your description for this, because it doesn't give you a cakey finish. So I would actually say that it does give you medium to full coverage. No cakiness, no heavy look or feel, feels like skin. It actually evens your skin perfectly. It doesn't feel thick on the skin. So I feel like your skin still looks and feels healthy. So this is another great foundation. And like I said, this is actually what I've got everywhere else. So I've got this on everywhere else on the rest of my face with a concealer, with powder, but just with a little bit more coverage, because obviously I added a bit of concealer, but even on its own, I feel like this gives you the most flawless finish. I know that we all are so used to kind of applying our foundation with our concealer, with our powder. But I would really, really urge you to try using your foundation without any concealer on the days that maybe you don't want a lot of makeup, and you just, maybe even if you're just at home and you just want something on because you might be, I don't know, going to the gym or going to the shops or whatever, just try just your foundation, because you'll find that sometimes that's all you need. It's just a natural habit, I think, that we've kind of formed, that we assume, right, when we apply foundation, we've got to apply concealer with it. But just try it, trust me. Apply the foundation in the same way you would apply concealer, so like use a sponge around the eye area if that's what works best for you. But honestly, just try it, because I feel like these foundations are great for that type of coverage. Moving on, this is another firm favorite of mine. So let me now, I'm going to take this off on this side, work on a different side so that I'm not kind of irritating my skin. Okay, this next one is actually a skin tint, but personally I think it might as well just be a foundation. It is the Beauty Blender Bounce Skin Tint. I have to say, this is absolutely amazing on the skin. And I feel like it's great if you have, like, you know, if you feel like your skin is just feeling and looking old to you, you know, older. So this is something you have to shake before you use it. Obviously it's gonna say use it with a beauty blender because it is by Beauty Blender, but I feel like you can apply this in any way that you like. So I'm just gonna get this. This is like this, and this is, again, drippy, but it's not crazy drippy. So it's like a little kind of dropper. Just put it on the hand. It's not crazy drippy, like I said, right? So I would say this is like, it's kind of very similar to the first two when it comes to consistency. So this shade is a little bit warmer for me at the moment, so just bear that in mind. This is Tan 3, and I actually use this when I have more of a tan, so it might look a bit crazy on me today. Now this is actually a vegan skin tint, so it's clean, it doesn't have any nasties in it again. It is a medium coverage, but you can build it up very easily, the same way you can with most foundations. I do feel like this, again, is something that's good for your skin. It's a glass bottle, I think. I kind of wish it was not in a glass bottle because I get worried that I'm going to drop it, but so is the Haus Labs, to be fair, I think. But I do feel that a little goes a long way with this, so you don't actually need a lot. So let me actually apply this with a beauty blender, because just to show you. So I'm gonna buff this into the beauty blender. So I'm just dragging a little bit to the side, buffing it into the beauty blender, and then going on. So it might look a bit extra warm for me because it is the color I use when I'm tanned. But I do love this. It has niacinamide in here, it has hyaluronic acid. So it's got all those really nice hydrating ingredients that really help to kind of just keep your skin looking juicy, plump, and you don't feel like it dries out throughout the day. I feel like it looks natural on the skin. So as you can see, we've got that really nice finish to the skin. It probably gives me a more of a dewy finish than the previous two foundations. So it is something that I feel like you're gonna need powder in order to set it, but I also do feel that you could apply this with a brush, just have a dusting of powder on top. It looks amazing on skin. All of these foundations, by the way, I have used on certain clients who are over 40 and even up into their 50s, and they look like really, really good. Okay, let's move on to the next one now. So let me take this off on this side. There you go. Next one, this is a great one. This is the MAC Studio Radiance Foundation. My shade is NC38. This is a great foundation for skin that feels older, looks older to you, not really enough hydration in your skin. You need a helping hand when it comes to skincare. Again, this is great. When it comes to skincare, it's packed with good ingredients for your skin. This gives you a natural kind of radiance to your skin. It's called a serum powered foundation because it is infused with a whole load of skincare. This is probably one of the best, I would say, alongside the Nars, and there is another dual foundation which is too heavy, I personally think, for everyday wear, which is why it's not in this. But the dual Forever foundations I used to love, but I do find them just a bit too heavy as I've gotten older. So I feel like this is like the next best thing for me, for my type of skin now at this age. Packed full of great ingredients. Let me just put this on the skin. This is definitely the less drippy one out of all of my used so far. It's a kind of really nice I would say like not thick, it's like a medium thickness to it, like, but it's not so runny where it's like it's not going to give me any coverage. And I'm going to use this with a brush. I'm using this with the same brush. When you do apply this with a brush, you will find that it applies much less. How can I put this? When you put it on your hand, it looks thicker than what it actually looks and feels on your skin. So it doesn't look as thick. So don't look at it on the back of your hand and think, oh my God, this looks quite thick, because when you apply it, it's like you're actually applying a serum. It's honestly like that. And the coverage is amazing. It's like kind of medium coverage, but it can give you fuller coverage if you apply more. As you can see, a really healthy finish. I know it's difficult to see when you're kind of comparing so many foundations, but I just want to show you what it looks like when I first apply it. Everyone sets foundation in a different way, which is why I'm not even going to bother with setting. I already know these all last really, really well. So that goes without saying with all of these, but I want you to see what it looks like on bare skin. So as you can see, especially when you compare it to the last one, like this has more of that really nice hydration packed into it. You're going to get the hyaluronic acid. You're going to get all of that goodness that you need within your skin as you get older. So hopefully that explains to you how good that one is. I also feel like this lasts so well on the skin. All of these foundations, by the way, work really well with concealers, but I'm just talking about the foundations at the moment because again, everyone uses concealer and foundation in a different way. So I'm just going to take this off on this side. Okay. So this one is different. I am going to get my sculpting brush from ILIA because I actually quite like this for this one. And this is actually my ILIA Skin Rewind Complexion Stick. I love this and it's so good for skin that is a little bit older because firstly it is good. This is completely weightless on the skin. I know it's a stick, so you're gonna think, oh my God, it's a stick, it's gonna be heavy, it's gonna be cakey. Trust me, not at all. This is literally like, I would say, tinted skincare in a stick. That's the best way I would put it. It gives you the most amazing finish. It's so airbrushed and flawless on the skin, and it's not as heavy as what you may think it is. So I like to use this, but let me show how I like to do it. There are several ways to actually apply this. You can use a brush and just kind of go like that and then go onto the skin, or you can actually just draw it on and then use a brush to actually blend it in. It's very seamless on the skin. It kind of melts into the skin as well, which is what I love. It's a natural matte finish, so it's not going to look super kind of like glowy on the skin, but at the same time, it's not going to look ultra matte. It's not going to dry out. It's definitely not drying on your skin, so don't worry. I know you get scared when you look at this. Trust me, it's not going to do what you think it's going to do. It's vegan, cruelty-free, all of the good stuff. So I'm going to just go like this. So I like to go over this for an ultra light, natural finish. And then I just literally brush it on. And that is it. Guys, I literally just went over that a little bit. See the finish it gives you? You don't even need powder over it. You can if you want to, but honestly, I wouldn't even use this like with powder because I love this as my kind of like easy, just easy kind of like little bit of coverage that I need through the day, which is not heavy, doesn't look greasy on my skin. It actually just looks like my own skin, but just healthier. Honestly, such a good foundation. I love this one. It's just, I would say this is your everyday one. You know, all the rest are great when you want to put a little bit more effort in. You want to add a bit of concealer to it. You know, you want to kind of set it properly. But for your everyday foundation, I've got so much foundation all over me now. For your everyday foundation, this is amazing. And I just like how it's like someone sculpted it. It's not like your typical kind of like stick, but it is really, really nice. It's good for your skin. It doesn't look heavy at all. You can wear it with no powder. It's amazing. So you can thank me later with that one. That is my full list of makeup, like foundations for over 40s. You're gonna love them. They're tried and tested by me. And like I said, I'm coming up to my mid 40s. They're great. I have gone through, I haven't even come out the other end yet, but I'm going through the whole change when it comes to, you know, your skin, your hormones, everything at this time in your life. So, you know, it is something that I feel works really, really well and these are my go-to foundations that I feel like I can really trust and rely on with how my skin is changing at the moment. So I really hope that's helped. Don't forget, I do have an online publication which is called the Beauty Breakfast Club. It's a community full of beauty lovers. Anyone who is passionate about beauty and looking after themselves, wellness, your mindset, self-care, head on over there. You're gonna love it. It's a great community and it's really being kind of changed up this year, and I'm really excited for you guys because you're going to see something very new and unique over there. I'd love to see you over there. 2 options of subscription. One is free, that gives you access to some of the site. The other is paid, which is literally the equivalent of getting yourself a coffee a month, and that gives you access to the entire site along with a chat room. You get to be involved with the content that's being created, and I create all the content myself. And we, like I said, did I already mention we have a chat room? I'll see you there, so hopefully you will opt for that version. I do have a podcast which is available on YouTube and Spotify. It's called Minding Our Business, that I host with my husband. Very real, very authentic, basically saying everything that everyone's thinking, but probably doesn't say. Mostly that comes from my husband, but I want to see you over there too. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button so that you never miss any of my future videos. Until the next video, take care and I'll see you soon.